Brilliance Audio presents the unabridged recording of Titanic Book 3, S.O.S. by Gordon Korman, performed by Michael Page. Prologue. RMS Californian, Monday, April 15, 1912, 12:15 a.m. The small ocean liner sat at rest on the still, glassy waters of the North Atlantic. It was not the flat calm that had brought the Californian to a dead stop, but rather the mass quantities of field ice that lay about. Captain Lord was unwilling to proceed until daylight illuminated the hazards that surrounded his vessel. The ship had been transmitting ice warnings all day. It was little wonder that Marconi operator Evans had decided to go to bed early. While Evans slept, his station was manned by Third Officer Groves. By 12:15 a.m., the silence from the headphones grew tiresome, and Groves, too, gave up for the night. If his tea had been a little hotter, and he'd had to drink it a little more slowly, he might have had time to remember that the Californian's wireless set had to be wound manually. A few turns of the crank, and Third Officer Groves would have heard the message, CQD MGY. CQD meant come quickly, distress. MGY represented the call letters of the RMS Titanic, the largest, grandest, and most celebrated ocean liner in the world. The Titanic was also stopped in the water, less than 10 miles away, and she was sinking. Chapter 1. RMS Titanic, Monday, April 15, 1912, 12:15 a.m. Captain E.J. Smith noticed it the instant he stepped onto the boat deck. The bow was down. It would be imperceptible to all but the most experienced seamen. Yet to the Commodore of the White Star Line it was all too glaring and all too real. Also real was the tilt in the deck. Smith's sea legs had never failed him before, just as he'd never before sent a distress call, until tonight. He took only a few seconds to appreciate once more the most magnificent ship that had ever sailed the seas. The largest, the most technologically advanced, the most luxurious, and, his lip quivered ever so slightly, the safest. This was to have been his final voyage. Now he was certain of that fact. But he had no time for reflection. There were decisions to be made. It was the captain's job to make them. He walked back to the bridge and faced Thomas Andrews, the Titanic.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?